Then like for you, like maybe like ice cream.
Ice cream. Always ice cream, yeah. Yeah, that's my main source of calcium.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to have my really good friends John Venus and Derek Sinnett on the channel with me to explain why us three bodybuilders decided to go vegan. So first off, John Venus, how long have you been lifting?
I've been lifting for 8 or 9 years. I'm not exactly sure. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long have you been lifting?
Probably, like, I've been trying to build muscle for probably 6 years now. 5 or 6 years.
John, you want to start? Basically, why did you decide to go vegan originally?
Yeah, so for me, I had a little bit of a different situation where my brother came back one day and said and announced to my family that he was going to go vegan and drop all animal products. So that was the first time I heard the term vegan. So he kind of planted a seed. Didn't really, do much in terms of convincing me to go vegan. But shortly after, my parents adopted a mostly plant-based diet. So they would eat plant-based 5 days a week, only 2 days eating meat. And I thought that was kind of stupid, lame, and then just, carried on living our, bro bodybuilding chicken and rice and broccoli diet. And eventually, maybe like a year or two later, me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife Catherine, we watched Earthlings, which is a movie kind of going into the ethical side of factory farming, circus, having pets, all these things, and that really opened my eyes and my wife's eyes as well. So we went vegan straight away right after watching Earthlings.
Yeah, I had the same kind of thing where I was like, I heard about veganism and I was like, yeah, okay, that's for other people, bro.
Right.
It's not for me. I'm trying to make muscle gains and stuff. And you were a pretty big meat eater before you went vegan, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
I've seen the photos.
Yeah, exactly. There's enough of them going around.
Yeah.
No, I was eating, on the weekends, me and my family always had the biggest barbecues. So twice a week we'd have like a family gathering where we have a huge piece of red meat,
right,
a bunch of chicken hearts, chicken thighs, all kinds of sausages. So this would be going on a daily basis, but also a huge amount, like a big feast, all you can eat meat buffet,
right,
twice a weekend as well.
Literally like opposite sides of the spectrum of going vegan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'll go with my story real quick. It's kind of a different one actually, because it has nothing to do with fitness or anything like that. I just had really severe cystic acne. I used to have these, basically if marbles were under my skin, and I would have 4 or 5 of them at a time, have blackheads all over my face, little white heads, and just redness all over my face in general. I took Accutane. It started to clear up, but then after Accutane I got and started using dairy and milk and stuff like that again, and it all started coming back, and I was just like, what can I do to change this? And I had heard that dairy, and specifically whey protein, was a cause of acne. So then I was like, well, if whey protein causes acne, maybe if I just take dairy out, and also maybe if the dairy has hormones and antibiotics and stuff in it, maybe also the meat, the way that it's made, is has the same kind of a thing. So then I was like, all right, I'll try veganism for a little bit, see what it does, see if it makes my skin better. And then it did make my skin better. And so then I was like, yo, I'm sold on this. And then it transpired into some other stuff, which I'll get into. But that's why I went vegan originally. So what about you?
So yeah, for me, it definitely was a transitional sort of time, and I was dating a girl who was going to school studying nutrition, what I later went on to study. And yeah, she started she kind of ate a little bit vegan, was kind of flirting with it, and she just kind of kept pushing me to sort of eat, kind of read the books that she was reading about, how bad the factory farming and stuff like that was. And so I started to naturally just kind of read those books that she'd leave around the house, and started to eat more grass-fed stuff and free-range eggs, because I believed it. I was like, man, I love animals, and what you're telling me is kind of challenging what I what I know. I know I shouldn't be eating them, but I am. But I didn't actually even really realize that at the time that I just thought being vegan, it was you were compromising on something for the animals. I didn't really realize that you could actually be healthy and excel at life if you're doing that. It's not a compromise at all. But I didn't really know that until then. Yeah, it took some time of that, and it got really expensive buying free range meats and grass-fed, that sort of stuff. And so I naturally just started to eat less of it, and also sort of, I don't really have a word, but respect it more, I guess, where I was I don't need to eat a ton of it at one time. I'll just do this, honor the animal kind of thing. And I'm already, eating, trying to give it a better life by eating grass-fed stuff. So it just, started to become less and less of a part of my plate.
Yeah.
And I started to feel better, and learning a little bit more about it, I started to realize that you can live a really healthy life this way, as long as you kind of pay attention to what you eat, and you don't just eat fries and pop all the time. Yeah, so it was a natural progression. I just kept going with it and started feeling better, and a lot of joint pain that I had went away, and with you, my skin skin started like, you know, clearing up, and I just woke up feeling more like clear and not so sluggish all the time. My energy was a lot more stable throughout the day. So yeah, once, you know, that I started to feel all the benefits, there was no turning back. So that's definitely that originally, you know, why I went vegan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what you're saying, like all that kind of stuff kind of leads you into being like, oh, this is fine for like fitness or bodybuilding too. Like I'm feeling more clear, I'm feeling less inflammation, less like mucus in my body. It's probably good. We'll probably get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I was actually not. Yeah, I wasn't bodybuilding at all at the time, so I did. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That was not even a part of it. Like,
wait, how long have you been vegan?
Probably close. Like, definitely started to like transition into it 10 years ago.
Damn.
And I slipped up after a year or two after that, when I like moved back home to live with some family. You know, succumbed to some pressures and stuff. But
Make me look like a noob.
10
years, man. For me, it's been just over 4 years, maybe 4.5 years at this point. And for you,
5 years next month. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And so then, just the follow up to that question is now, why are you vegan?
Okay, so why we're still vegan, basically. For me, it's really simple, right? Like, it's all back to the philosophy that I kind of made the decision to go vegan. So, like, if it's unnecessary to eat animals and to use animal products and that kind of stuff, like, why do it, right? And that has been my philosophy ever since going vegan. It's still, you know, even stronger to this day. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling amazing. I have a family who is thriving on a vegan diet as well. I have 9 family members on a vegan diet right now.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I have a lot of, you know, case studies, and I can see like that everyone's thriving and having a good time, and we're all doing our thing. So there is no reason why I shouldn't be vegan, if that makes sense, right? So it's all been, you know, amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I feel like my reason is, it sounds a little cliche because I feel like a lot of people have said it before, but like when I think about actually cutting an animal's throat so that I could eat it, first off, I just can't do it because now I have like this very emotional like connection with animals, and I feel like that comes a lot from like so many different things. Like part of my, you know, experience with having acne and stuff, I just became more empathetic to like other people. Then it kind of has crossed over to like just all beings. But I just can't imagine doing it. You know, like when I look in an animal's eyes, I'm just like, I got you, dude. You just can't speak my language, but we're kind of like on the same level. And then also like, yeah, I could just eat beans, or I could just eat like tempeh, or I could eat rice, or like, you know, whatever. And for me, just like you're saying, like I haven't seen any issues with bodybuilding or with like any of my performance. I haven't had any health issues. I haven't had any energy issues. I haven't had any issues at all. And it's been 4.5 years. I know a ton of people who have done it for way longer than me. I mean, you've done it for 10 years, so twice my time. But then all of us know people who have been doing it for like 20, 30 years. You know, I mean, like for me, it just doesn't seem like it's necessary, and I haven't had any issues with like competing or my strength or my size or anything like that. And so, I guess the other reasons that I would say I'm vegan now is also like because I made the connections, like ethically. Obviously, like the health stuff that happens with your body is like way better, less cancer rates. I have a couple people in my family who have had cancer and who have died from cancer. It's just not something that I'm like, you know, wanting to have any extra, you know, fuel towards. But then also, you know, like ecologically, it's the best thing you can do for the earth and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, like all those are wrapped up into one. But yeah, it moved from just being for my acne, just a completely first step type thing. And then I found like the other things that had now like, you know, I guess kind of build the pillars of why I'm doing it. Yeah, I'd say ethics is probably like the very next one for me. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, definitely a mix of all three of those. But yeah, like I feel like the amount of effort that it takes me to like reach for like a plant-based milk versus like regular milk on the shelf, or just like make an all like bean and veggie burrito rather than like a bean and meat burrito, like the effort for me is so little, but the impact is like so huge, like not just for the animal, but you know, for the environment, and also for like our health too. So it's, yeah, for me it's like a no-brainer, and there's no reason for me not to be, like just like what you guys said.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point too. Like I used to have a gallon of milk every single day, like the Go Mad diet, dairy milk, and I used to love like the taste of it, like absolutely creamy and all that kind of stuff. But like once I went through the nut milk, I feel like almond milk is what everyone goes to, or rice milk or something, and that's a little bit watery. Once I got to like cashew or soy milk, is for me it's like it's super creamy. I have a ton of that every single day. Then like for you, like maybe like ice cream.
Ice cream. Always ice cream. Yeah, that's my main source of calcium.
But yeah, like all the things that you want to eat, you can still eat. Like for example, I like grew up right next to Mexico, so like I like a lot of burritos. I like a lot of like they used to be called the carne asada fries, like French fries, guacamole, beans, all the stuff on top. Same stuff. You just take out the dairy cheese and put vegan cheese on there. So it's not like, I mean, we made
a pizza each not long ago with like chicken, like vegan chicken, vegan cheese, all that good stuff. And there's no way you're missing out on anything.
Right.
Like there is a replacement for everything nowadays. So yeah,
just
easy.
I know a lot of people are probably probably watching this and interested because maybe they're into bodybuilding or fitness and they want to maybe go into veganism, or maybe they're brand new at it. So maybe some quick tips real quick on people who have just gone vegan or are new to veganism and they're trying to add weight.
Yeah, to add weight, it's the simple, you know, calorie balance kind of question, right? Like you always have to make sure that you're on a caloric surplus to gain weight, and the easiest way to do that is to increase the caloric density of your meals, which means blending stuff together in smoothies or adding more dietary fats. These things can go a long way into helping you, you know, be on a caloric surplus and gain weight.
Yeah, good advice for sure. Blending stuff, smoothies and like baby food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's true though. Like the beans that I made the other day, like how many of those like refried beans can you eat versus just like a can of regular beans? You know?
Right.
We like blended up. Like you just take a can of beans, put them in a blender with like some tomatoes, some garlic powder, onion powder, or maybe even a couple scoops of cilantro, and yeah, and then just blend it, pulse it a little bit, and saute that for a little while on the stove, and you have some amazing like refried beans. It's so easy to eat. You could eat the whole can like no problem.
Right.
And you know there's like no like not extra salt and oil and all this shit in it. Pardon me.
Okay,
Beep
bro.
that out. It's not my channel. I feel like I don't have my filter on.
G-rated. Just went to PG-rated.
I've never done that online. No. And what else? Just like for me, just getting an extra meal in is like big. Like just make yourself do it. It's not like I'm eating like 6 meals in a day. Usually it's like I'm eating 2 or 3 meals a day, and it just means getting like an extra small meal in, because you don't need a surplus of like, you know, at least in my opinion, and I'm not a huge guy, but of like 800 calories or something crazy. Like I think a steady surplus of 200, 300, 400 calories is like more than enough to build muscle.
Yeah, a little bit like the lean gain type of thing.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people will say like, oh, it's harder to gain, it's hard to gain weight as a vegan, but also in the first place, like as a hard gainer myself, I started at 130 pounds. When I was eating anything I wanted, dairy, cheese, anything, it was hard in the first place. Like you were saying, get an extra meal in. That was definitely for me, like, okay, I'm full, it's the end of the night. And then if I counted my calories, I'd be like, oh, I'm at 1,800 calories. Like I'm not gonna gain weight. So I had to eat another meal, even though it's not like I was technically hungry. Bodybuilding isn't really like a supernatural like way of eating and going about things, trying to add muscle. And so you kind of have to like make yourself do it. The other thing I did want to add is like, if you tend to have an issue with fibers, like as you go forward, your body will get used to it, but fiber does tend to fill you up more. And so what I have done in the past, if you are a really hard gainer and you have to eat a lot of calories, liquid smoothies and stuff like that, liquefying your food definitely helps it get through you faster and digest faster, but also maybe choosing things that have a little bit less fiber in them. I know that sounds kind of like the anti-health thing, that because everyone says, fiber is really good for you, but if you're already getting 80 grams of fiber, then maybe, skipping out on the last 40 grams of fiber would be smart. In my case, like sometimes I'll use white rice instead of using brown rice. I'll just use like a carb store, like I'll cut the skins off of potatoes instead of eating with the skins.
Bean pasta instead of beans. Not that beans are an unhealthy food, obviously. Right. But yeah, I mean, you can eliminate some of that fiber, and you're probably going to be having it with a bunch of other fiber-rich foods anyways.
Right. And that's kind of like the 2 points that I think are really important.
I was just going to say like a really easy thing to kind of start with if you're transitioning from a bodybuilding, traditional bodybuilding diet to a vegan or plant-based bodybuilding diet, is just look at those 3 kind of replacements of dairy, like you guys already mentioned, like plant milks, soy milk being the highest in calories, which would be the best kind of replacement in terms of bodybuilding, to dairy milk. And then for meat, I always like replacing meat with tempeh, or if you want to go more processed and more like kind of meat texture like, then you can go for mock meats if you're really missing the texture of meat and that kind of stuff. Has a lot of protein, same kind of macros. And then for the cheese and dairy and that kind of stuff, or for eggs, I would do tofu instead of eggs, basically make like tofu scramble. So those are like 3 easy replacements to just, that can make you switch your diet around overnight without having to think too much about it.
And the last thing I think we like really quickly go through is if you are trying to lose fat as someone who has a bunch of muscle, you're dieting, you're doing that phase. Any quick tips? And I feel like these are probably pretty obvious, but like maybe.
Yeah, for me, as long as like even without counting calories, even without tracking everything, if you're eating predominantly whole plant foods, it's going to be really hard not to lose body fat.
Nailed it.
And weight in a good way. Of course, a lot of people have the opposite problem, so it's kind of like, again, you have to be a little bit careful. You got to kind of calculate your calories in the beginning if this is a new lifestyle for you, to make sure that you're not under eating too much or overeating too much. But if you're eating a lot of whole foods, you're not going to have a issue losing body fat, in my experience.
Definitely that. But even still, people might struggle, and I think increasing the amount of foods like broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, those that aren't super calorically dense. They're still gonna have a lot of nutrients and gonna satiate you and give your body lots of nutrition in order to build muscle and recover.
And if you are not eating tons of oils and not throwing like tons of seeds and nuts and all that kind of stuff on stuff, like obviously you still want to have fat, so you don't want to cut a macro out entirely, so you do want seeds and nuts. But if you are making like a stir fry, but you're like throwing 3 tablespoons of oil in there, or you're saucing it super hard, then yeah, you're not gonna get the benefits of eating like wholly food. For me, I don't tend to need to count my calories when I'm trying to lose fat. I just eat until I'm full and then just don't continue eating anymore. But again, that is if I'm eating 100% whole foods. Thank you guys. I really wanted to have you on here. I really appreciate you guys doing this real quick. I know we're like freezing our nipples off because it's so cold on the street.
I know, what the heck happened here?
It's so cold. We're in Venice. It should be hot, but it's not. But anyways, guys, these are some of my best friends in the entire world, especially here on YouTube and Instagram. So if you guys want to check them out, you can check out Simnet Nutrition and you can check out John Venus. Both of their links will be in the description. First thing you can click down there below. Subscribe to both of them. Have fantastic, awesome videos. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give a big old thumbs up. Let me know your thought in the comments below. And subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week.
TT!
CT!
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.